What's up, Cavs fans? Brendan Gulick and Spencer Davies with you with Cavs Insider, part of the SI Media Group on FanNation. It is preseason game number one. It counts because it matters because the Cavs are going to play somebody else tonight other than themselves. But these are just games to kind of get you ready for the season. That doesn't mean we can't get you prepped, though. So let's dive into it, Spence, with a couple things you're really excited to watch for here tonight.
Yeah, I think the first one is the obvious elephant in the room. We know that Jared Allen's been sidelined with an ankle bruise. So how are they going to end up filling in for him? You got multiple options. The first one that comes to mind is a brand new guy they brought in, Damian Jones. And he's been talked about a little bit in camp here the last few days, just about how he can fill in the role next to Evan Mobley, providing him a little bit of space, working in the pick and rolls, and just most importantly, being himself. So I think watching for Damian, see what Tristan Thompson still has left in the tank. He's not been quite as featured in the last few seasons by teams in the way that we're used to seeing him in Cleveland. And we'll see if he's going to be kind of in that role this year with the Cavs where he left off. So I think watching for those two, I know Tristan brought up Pete Nance. We'll see if he gets a little bit of run too. And then I think an interesting one, too, when we talk about the absence of Jared Allen, is what does Evan Mobley look like at the 5? And JB Bickerstaff's talked about putting 4 smalls around him, 4 shooters around him now that they have those options. So, yeah, I think that's the first thing that I'm looking for.
I can't wait to see how Ty Jerome gets worked in tonight. There's obviously a lot of conversation around what the Cavs backcourt is going to look like. I mean, you've got your staples for sure, but you can't have those guys on the floor every minute of every game, and depth needs to be there, right? First opportunity to see Max Strus, first opportunity to see George Niang. Heard so much about all the spacing, how this team wants to maintain its defensive identity while having better spacing on the floor offensively to give their best players chances to go out and do what they do, make shots, make some great moves, and have a dynamic, fun, flashy, quick, great style offense.
Yeah, no, I would have to agree with you there. And I laughed when JB was talking about Ty Jerome and how he, quote unquote, busted their ass last year. So that's always going to be a fun thing. Now he's on the good side, so to speak. I thought of another one while you were talking of something to look out for. The 2-way contract guys. 3 of them that really looked solid in summer league. And we talked to Isaiah Mobley about that yesterday, but not just Isaiah. I'm looking at Emoni Bates, what their plans for him going to be this year between Cleveland and obviously the G League team and the Charge. And then Craig Porter Jr., someone that we haven't talked about at all in camp. And he's somebody that really burst onto the scene when they were in Las Vegas, just with his athleticism, his acumen, his intelligence, and of course his athleticism. So I think the 2-way guys and some of the reserves, Isaac Okoro, a lot of questions around what his role with this team is going to be here in the future. And it's a contract year for him. He's in the 4th year of his rookie deal. So I think it'll be interesting to watch out for those types of guys as we dive into preseason here, going to Atlanta to start it off.
I said it yesterday at the facility, no overreactions allowed. It's preseason game 1. Let's just have some fun with it, see what this team looks like. In all seriousness, look, the expectations are really high, and justifiably so. There are lots of stars on this team. I would argue there are probably 4 guys on this team that are among the top 50 players in the league. So, you're looking at a group saying, hey, it's championship caliber basketball. Let's see if you can go put it out there, recognizing it's still a really young group, right? It's not like these guys have had, 5-6 years in the league for every single one of them. The playoff experience is going to help them, I think, for sure, from last year. But I don't know how quickly you see some of that manifest itself. I kind of anticipate that preseason game 1 is going to have a little bit of this, ramping up process. You might see some silly mistakes that hopefully you won't see 3 months from now. It takes new teams a little time to gel, and just because they won 51 games a year ago and made it into the postseason as one of the favorites in the conference doesn't mean that they're going to come out tonight and beat the Hawks by 40. So let's have some realistic expectations here for game 1.
I have to agree there too. And I kind of touched on it a couple stand-ups that we did a little bit ago. We have to look at what happened around them too. We have to look at what the Bucks did in the offseason. We have to look at what the Celtics did in the offseason. Philly, I thought they knew what they were doing, but obviously there's the stuff going on with James Harden, but they're still immensely talented. I think that Atlanta, who they're going to see tonight in their preseason opener, has a lot to look forward to as well. So, the Eastern Conference has not gotten any easier. And there's some up and coming teams too that they got to be on the lookout for, even in their own division. I'm looking at Detroit, hiring Monty Williams, and Cade Cunningham's coming back, and they've made a couple of moves themselves and have some more growth with their young players. So it's not easy. It's not easy to win in the NBA. And that's why last season was one of the most competitive years in league history. So we'll find out what these Cavs are made of. But as Jared Allen said, I think their goal is to win a playoff series and get deeper than they were last season.
Well, it all starts tonight. That's going to be fun to watch his team get out on the floor and start running and competing against a team that is wearing a different uniform.
It's going to be ugly. It's going to be ugly. It's just how it is. It's how it is. It's how it is. They haven't played in a while against competition other than themselves. This is how preseason goes. And just a note for fans, don't pay attention too deeply to some of these rotations. You're likely not going to see the players who are going to play consistently after a quarter or after a half. This is all experimental. And again, like you said, Brendan, it's some guys that are new pieces trying to implement themselves into the system.
Should be a lot of fun to watch. 7:30 tip down in Atlanta. We'll be paying attention. We've got plenty of coverage coming for you all night long as the Cavs get their preseason underway. For all the latest news and info on the team, head to CavsInsider.com. Spencer Davies, Brendan Gulick with you. We will see you after the game.